HKO Live. Topic time.
Okay, welcome back. This is Topic Time here on the Orange Lounge. Sex is easier to get than a relationship because sex is easier than a relationship. For successful sex, you only need a willing partner, a little time, and bits that fit together. The bits usually do fit together. If they do not, you can probably find a way to improvise. For a successful relationship, you need a willing, single, interested, compatible partner, a lot of time, patience, understanding, empathy, forgiveness, and bits that fit together. Unfortunately, many people out their sexuality. Sex can be a sensitive and awkward topic that raises feelings of embarrassment, shame, or inequality, inadequacy. Because talking about sex involves a degree of risk, doing so can make you feel vulnerable to judgment, criticism, or rejection. Tonight on Topic Time, we are discussing why is it easier to have sex but difficult to talk about it with your partner. If you have any comment on this, you can send us a voice note or WhatsApp to 0244 883008 or call us on 020 860 8620. My guest on this segment of the show, Mr. Innocent Asima, who is a health and safety professional. Nana Nana is a businessman, he's a land surveyor and the chief. And also Miss Philo is in the studio with us. Fortunately, we have Mr. Innocent Asima on the line to begin our discussion with us. Hello. Good evening.
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening to you. Good evening, Nana, and the rest of the panel.
Right. Thank you. I hope you have had a good day.
Yep, we sojourn on.
Okay.
For good country.
All right. Okay, so let's start it off this way. Is sex generally a shy topic or a taboo to discuss in a relationship?
Okay, so generally talking about it can often be very difficult. It's generally not about a taboo, but there are reasons for which people may want to make it up as either it's a taboo or it's a difficult subject to talk about. It's always, most times, it's often uncomfortable because of several reasons, depending on the individual, their upbringing, their environment, their education, and all those things makes it. But it's not a taboo. It's because of the, how do you call it? Some stigma around it, and then other subjects in this discussion that makes it look as if it's very difficult to speak on. But in the general, it's not a taboo to speak about it. But if the person who is speaking about it does not have the knowledge or understanding about it, then it becomes another issue of discussion.
Okay. So, could it be that it's an upbringing issue that makes it quite challenging for people to then open up to easily talk about it the way they easily engage in it?
Okay, so talking about it can often be very difficult or uncomfortable for many people, even though engaging in it itself may be more natural. But there are some factors that contribute immensely to this paradox that we find ourselves in. So let's look at some of the factors that causes this to come into force.
Okay.
So firstly, we'll look at the subject you just asked, which is cultural taboo and stigma. Now, and at this point, we've got two arms of this. One has to do with society's attitude, and the second has to do with the shame and guilt. So, from looking at it from the arm of the society's attitude, many cultures and societies have historically treated lovemaking as a taboo. Sometimes it's considered as a private issue and not openly discussed. As a result, people often grow up feeling that talking about sex or lovemaking is inappropriate, leading to discomfort in adult conversation about it.
Okay.
So when you look at it from the shame and guilt aspect, some individuals carry feelings of shame or guilt related to lovemaking due to the way it was presented to them during their upbringing, whether through religion or their religious beliefs or their parental messages or societal norms. And that is it. In certain instances, in some communities that I have visited, you can't even mention it. It's like a forbidden statement. You can't just talk about it because it's presumed it is meant for a specific class of people. If you're not married or you are not at that age, you can't talk about issues like that. And so that makes it becomes difficult to talk about. Secondly, the fear of rejection or judgment. And this also comes with two arms as well. The first arm talks about vulnerability. Most people talking about lovemaking involves opening up about their desires, their preferences, and insecurities, which can make people feel very vulnerable. Now, the fear of being judged or misunderstood or rejected by their partner makes it easier to avoid the conversation in total.
Okay.
When picking up from the second arm, which is the performance anxiety, most times discussing sexual issues, experiences, or desires can trigger concerns about performance or inadequacy. People may fear that bringing up certain topics could lead to criticisms or disappointment, which can create tensions. Now, in the vulnerability state, there's this married couple who've been married for about 12 years. But the very moment the lady talks about it, raises the subject about lovemaking, or tries to bring innovation or try to discuss the subject with her husband because she is not enjoying or she's not having the best out of his husband, the husband turns defensive, calls her names, what they was said to do, what they say, and all those things. And so at a point in time, she decided that, well, to avoid any of those things, let me just keep quiet. So that can also result in that. Then the third point looks at the lack of communication skills.
Okay.
It also can do as which has to do with inexperienced love-making dialogue or sex maybe dialogue. For many people, conversations about sex don't come naturally because they don't have much knowledge or practice about it. They may not know the right words to use or how to approach such sensitive topics without feeling awkward. Then the next one looks at emotional attachment to the subject. Sometimes people are too emotional to the act. They are too emotionally attached to it, which almost involve emotional or psychological connections. So discussing the subject may bring about personal insecurities, past traumas they have had in the past, hidden emotional issues, which can make the conversation heavy or challenging for them. So they decide to avoid the subject in totality. Another point that can also look at is embarrassment and awkwardness. Lack of comfort. Many people find it easier to engage in it in a physical act than sit down and then have an open conversations about it. It requires explanations and navigations. Potential misunderstandings may come in and awkward feelings can also result from it. So in making all these things, it's important that basically these particular subjects are handled and understood, and then be able to take the cue from it so that you'll be in a better position to be able to look at it. there are ways by which you can overcome this, which I think we'll look at further in the discussions. Thank you.
All right. That was quite extensive there. Thank you very much, Mr. Asima. Miss Philo, I think you look at the next question for us and we'll see whether we'll get help from the missing Nana and anything. So, which gender makes it more difficult to talk about sex and why? Is it males or female who make it very difficult to talk about sex?
Okay, so when it comes to talking about sex, the party or is it the sex that makes it difficult? That is the man or woman?
Yes. Is it the man or the woman who makes it more difficult and why?
Both. I will say both. And the person that sometimes makes it more difficult is we, the women.
Why?
Yes. And then if a man tries to make talking about sex more difficult, the reason may be societal norms. Where how the person was grown up, the people he socialized him or himself with, right? And then unemotional making vulnerabilities and challenges that probably he might have gone through. And then the fear of rejection. He's afraid that, no, if I talk about sex, people reject me, must say, that kind of thing. So that one too is another hindrance for the men also not talking about sex. And then performance anxiety.
Performance anxiety, can you explain?
Yes. So the performance anxiety is that the men, they feel pressure to perform well sexually, leading to sometimes the hesitations to this kind of discussions. Because if I talk about
are you saying that when it comes to men, when they discuss it, it means they have to perform according to it?
How can you tell me that?
Oh, okay.
Do you get it?
Oh, I get your point.
So because of that, I wouldn't even have such a conversation with you, whereby if I don't perform, you make reference to probably statements I might have made. And then emotional expression. Men, they often discourage from expressing emotions, making it harder to discuss what intimate topics. And also another thing. Now let's come to the women. Cultural taboos. Hey, what say? Why not catch it out? Don't do that. Hey, no. Even look at how, even when our children are growing up, how we even train them. The vaginal, we tell them, hey, kakai. So me telling my child that vagina is called kakai, what kind of thing am I teaching the child? So that child wouldn't grow up to have that confidence to even talk about what sex. And then a fear of judgment or shame. Sometimes they are worried that they see when I talk about sex actually, the guy might even think that I'm a spoiled brat or something. So no, Charlie, no, I won't talk about it. Then they'll pretend about, hey, no, me, I don't like it. I don't like us to talk about that thing. It's one of the, they are afraid that when they talk about it, you may judge them. You may judge them that they are spoiled brats or something. Do you get it? So that is one of the reasons why women also don't like talking about what? Sex. And then power dynamics. That is, they feel less empowered or what? Initiate to discuss sex due to societal relationship inequalities.
But you see, we are all different individuals. So if, for instance, you have studied your partner well, and he or she likes talking about it, can't you just, as a way of drawing him or her closer, make the effort to just be a bit versatile and flexible with the subject and discuss it when he or she makes it available to talk about it?
So, for instance, like they feel less empowered. They don't have that confidence too. Like, probably see when in the case where the man is higher and you are there, like you just want your man to know that no, maybe.
No, but you do it for this man, so why should it be difficult to talk about?
That I will satisfy you. I'll give you the Nana, give me the names. I'll give you the hammer,
There's hammer too.
Nana, didn't you talk about hammer? the hammer, the plasma, and the red. I'll give you all those beautiful styles just to satisfy you. But when it comes to talking about
kindly ask her what is her favorite style. Then stop that hammer.
Okay.
I'll tell you off air. Don't worry. I'll tell you. And then emotional safety. That is, women. What we end up prioritizing emotional safety and avoid discussing sex if we feel uncomfortable or unheard. Do you understand? So emotionally, if I feel like if I talk, no, he doesn't listen to me, I wouldn't even talk about it, because even normal conversation, whenever I make a statement, oh, come on, now you're bad. Do you think I'll have that that feeling to even discuss the sex thing with you? No, because I know that even when I bring it up, he will not even listen to me. Because when it comes to the marriage, my stance don't matter here. It's the man. Whatever I say, he doesn't listen to me. He shuts me down. He do all those things. Like those things wouldn't even allow me to even discuss sex with you. But trust me, sex is if we are able to have that discussion. Trust me, you enjoy marriage, because at least you talk about it. What would be nice if your partner calls you, hey, hello, honey. I like that short sneaker you put on. Just put it on for me. Get that wine for me. I want the cubes, and get ready tonight. I'm going to make me cry. Something, you see. Then the feeling comes there. So the preparedness is there. Yeah. But if you don't talk about these things to spice up the marriage, then what are we?
There's a case that the man is talking, he's expressing all these things, and it's like he or she is not moved. And we've got a few
for me, I think that the problem mostly is with the
women.
Yes,
men talk about sex easily.
They do very, very easily. They do. Okay, they do. But with the women, we want to be like that church girl, how we were brought up. We are sorry, you don't come with what say they just keep to themselves.
Can you remember like talking this song? It said Akwada Shatadia Wishe.
What say?
Thank you. Read the message.
Alright, so from Riga, this message, she says that it's because she actually put the question on Facebook wall that why is it easier to have sex than to talk about it? Her opinion is that because sex is easy, because it just involves emotions and feelings of two people. But it's difficult to talk about it where they are not responsible and understanding. The fact that it's unpredictable at the same time is not normal for two people. And the moment they talk about it, they won't be having sex anymore. Do you share the opinion? In other words, they are compatible when it comes to doing it. But when it comes to talk about it, by the time they are through talking about it, it's as if they are disinterested. They are no longer that compatible sex partners anymore.
That's her opinion.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Opinion.
We just leave it.
Do I have another one? Okay, from Dennis, he says that it's mainly our social setting, the taboo tag, that even married women or women even find it difficult to ask for it or even complain when not satisfied. It's become more convenient to do it but not be expressive about it. So, like Miss Philo was saying, the men would be willing to, but the women feel when they do, then they are and some men will carry it overboard that you've experienced something recently, and for that matter, you want me to express myself more than usual. Okay, from Joyce, she says that if you can't talk about it, then your partner might be a non-living thing.
Did she explain?
She didn't, unfortunately. From Barbara, I think he also repeats the point from Dennis that it's about how we were socialized from infancy. And then Emmanuel says it's Asemu. That's all I got. Okay. I think this guy is funny. Kwame says that it's because of the JJJ in Stoneboy's voice. Okay. Miss Brown didn't say much about that. Other people are laughing at me for putting a topic like that across. Abeku says it depends on what he didn't explain himself. Okay, so far that's what we have. Listen, if you have an opinion on this, you can send it to us. Our topic is simple. It is very easy for any man and woman to meet and have sex. But those same people will find it difficult to meet at a hotel to talk about sex. What do you think about this? Why is it so? Share your opinion with us. You can even send us a voice note to 0244883008 and we'll play it here live on Radio Max 105.1 FM. Okay.
No, but Mr. Did you know that growing up I also had that challenge? I can be with you. We can do that romantic, but the moment you bring that topic, sex, up,
even once you're in the act of doing it,
it's not. No, don't see that there's a foreplay. Like you'll be the foreplay. Usually, those are the things you do just
the
to.
foreplay that you really love so much. So when you are doing it, and the man or the guy just mentioned the name, let's have.
Or
sex.
sometimes it's not even.
I just want to find out.
No. No, please let me make my point. See, it's not even like before the foreplay. Let's say like we go out, we sit on somewhere, having a chat or something. Then let's say we are happy, but the moment you bring us, what kind of sex position do you like? Or if I do it, do you get satisfied during those? No, I don't bring it.
Right.
I don't know, but I feel like I feel shy. Yes, I don't like it. It doesn't make me comfortable.
But which
it was like this secondary school's tagline for women. Action, not words.
Yeah. I said
right. So
action speaks louder than words.
That's what women want when it comes to
consent.
Me initially that was.
So you are part of the movement that says that silence means consent.
No, but mostly when women say
I said, are you part?
It's sometimes
yes.
Okay.
So why don't they say dabi?
Oh, see, sometimes it's more like if I go straight, you might think, just I say.
You in a guy's head.
You see, we think for you guys. We think for men. Sometimes women think for men. This question that he's even asking me if I talk, he just wants to get me.
This topic is an interesting topic.
I think we need to.
So far, I haven't heard from you, so you go on with it.
Yeah, it's just because I was just listening to Innocent and then Philo also on it.
Okay.
And there are a lot of comments. The comments that are coming. You know, sex is actually something it's difficult for people to be saying it.
Mm-hmm.
Our culture does not permit us to say it because we find it that very difficult when you say it. It has so many reasons that our elderly or our forefathers thought that sex is something that it should be said within the context of an elderly people around them. Like when the men are together, they can mention the name of sex, do whatever they will discuss about it. When the women are together, they discuss about it. But when the two parties come close, it is something that each one of them feels shy that we feel say back one session back home. Especially the men always feel that the women, before I met you, it means that I should say you meet and more friends say, hey, you should meet and tell me who they say really could do, so that I can judge you per that. And because sometimes to the women too, they don't love saying the truth to the men. So the men also have the idea that a woman is like that, or most women are like that. So sex is something that it's difficult for them to be saying it, because it's like you just don't want the guy to know that you know much about sex. Maybe you have been educated by your mom, because those days it was parents, especially the mothers, that teaches the children the real meaning of sex. And as you said, they'll say that Kakai, you're like my little girl tell you that I want to wash my under. Then before I realized, the mother, one day I was there and I heard her saying that was telling the younger one that as she was bathing, have you washed your vagina? I said, wow, how did this girl get to know this word? Because I've not, I'm the part of the 1664, which some words very difficult for me to even come out when I'm with the kids. But I asked the mom said, why should I tell the girl under? Whilst when the girl go to school and somebody touches her or something like that, how can the girl come make reports? So I have to let the girl know that this is what they call vagina. So that's the vagina. I said, go and tell the boy that is what. I just kept quiet. You know, it is something that our elders also says that we don't teach the guys. We don't teach the guys that this is how they make love to a woman. But that is the only thing that I don't know whether it was taught by nature.
Nature.
I don't know whether Henry, the mother taught Henry, or I don't know whether.
You're making your point.
No, I just want to find out.
I don't really understand you.
It's like it's something that no one teaches us, but we get to know how we use it or how it can be done. But when it comes to sex mention or saying something about sex
or sex talk,
we find it difficult by explaining. It is nature. It is by our culture. It's how we were all brought up. As you are there now, if there are certain words that you use in front of your children or in presence of someone else, they ask, Okasa, like Sebi on 5 how can you say this in presence or in the midst of people? But maybe the person was also saying the truth. Because if you say that this is my sex position, these questions are questions that I normally ask people, that when you go out with your partner or when you have an affair with your partner, do you once ask questions when it comes to her sex position, her sex, the type of style that she wants, like when you're doing the foreplay, the sensitive areas, like so that, and they say, no. The reason why you are asking is not because you want to know her weak point, but she's your wife or she's your partner. But when you ask such questions, it enables you to also know that this part, if I touches her, it may hurt her. You get it?
Okay.
When I touch this place, it may hurt her. When maybe some girls doesn't love kissing. You this guy, you love kissing, and you always want to go and kiss this girl. It tends to be a problem. So why don't you sit down and communicate? Maybe they must have made a chum off, they may pepper. Oh, maybe a chum off. I don't like chum off, but I like.
Nana has terms.
You get it? So there are certain things that.
But apparently, kissing helps us to determine if we are a good macho.
Oh, that is for the men.
Yes.
Or like, can you explain that?
Yeah, it's
men love kissing.
It's a fact. I mean,
very few women.
If the two of you can really be into each other when you are kissing, it means that the love making
by the
also
kissing is something that gives the communication.
If there's a challenge for the two of you when you are kissing,
especially, do you know that the tongue?
There'll be a challenge with the love making too.
Okay. The tongue is something that communicates. That sends every message.
Philosophy 101.
You get it? So, as she was saying, there's a saying that the best teacher knows how best to explain things to the students.
See where he's diverted it to you.
If I don't cut this man off, you'll turn it into my.
Oh, no. Okay. Experience is the best teacher.
Okay, it's now 22 after 9. We are on topic time here on the Orange Lounge, live on Radio Max 105.1 FM. Hello, no. Are you there? Hello? Yeah, went off again. Hello,
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. I think we'll do this one with you before the line goes off again. So I think we'll be following out throughout. Now, let's do a bit more education on this side. How can couples make it easier to... can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. How can couples make it easier to talk about sex?
Okay, so there are different ways by which we can make communication about Come again, please.
Please go on.
Okay, so talking about sex can be challenging for some couples due to their social and taboo and personal insecurities, as we did mention earlier on. However, it is important that open communications about it is very crucial for the health and the satisfaction of the relationship in which they are. So it's important that creating a safe and a very supportive environment for couples can make it easier for them to discuss the subject and then discuss the sexual needs and desires from each of them. So let's look at some of how they can make it easier to talk about them. First of all, is to create a safe and a judgment-free space. Now, most of the time, when you study statistics, have indicated that most people are judgmental when it comes to the subject. Sometimes, basically, it comes from some of them, maybe the men mostly, because when the ladies express their views in a way, some of them tend to judge them. Then them get what I say, how are your day? You are this, you are that, you are that. So that mindset is created. So once that is created, it becomes a challenge. So we need to give a judgment-free space for each other to be able to speak. It's important for both partners to feel emotionally safe and comfortable when discussing intimacy. We must research about the topic we are talking about, and then we should not blame each other or criticize each other, but try to understand the way of improving the relationship. So it's kind words and languages that will help each other feel supported and make the person feel very safe. Yes,
do you have another phone by you or something? Because we're getting some feedback. It's not good at all.
No, I don't.
Don't even have radio with you?
No.
Well, okay.
Okay, so let me go and go back and see probably.
Okay.
If it's coming from.
Because initially it wasn't like that. I don't know why it's suddenly.
Okay, so probably it's the line because there is a different line in calling.
Okay, let me call you back. Okay, so Miss Philo and Nana, how do couples make it easier to talk about sex? I think Nana, you can go first. Then this will be your last talk on this.
No, when couples wants to discuss or talk about sex, it is not about, or it's not anything that's Rebecca said a big deal. Whenever you position yourself or you have a lot of things to think of, you do know that sex releases, the mention of sex even releases some stress in your brain, because research has proven that sex is something that always reduces stress when it comes to the men. So talking about sex with your partner is something always one should try as much as possible to be practicing.
How?
Let me, because how can you talk about sex to your partner? There are so many ways of communication. you know, like the way you usually do, Henry, you normally go, and then if you want to discuss sex and you don't want to use your mouth, they say that communication, even that's why you have sign language. You can equally go and hit do you have a name for it? The Jay-Z people, the boo-boo. Or
which one is the boo-boo?
Which one is the boo-boo?
Do I even know?
Okay.
Why are you asking me?
Oh, because that's the Jay-Z people. You have names.
Oh, I don't know. So
Okay.
the Jay-Z is the
Let's try Innocent again. Okay. I think it was just two lines which didn't agree. Okay, please go on.
All right. So I was just talking about first creating a safe space, and then a judgment-free environment for that to start. The second thing we can look out for to help is start with general conversations.
Okay, so use diversionary tactics to come back to what you want to deal with.
Then come back to it. You don't go direct. You start from something that is not related, and gradually you just dip it in. You can decide to start talking about something, some movie you watch somewhere or something.
Or a subject that they really like.
Both of you are interested in.
Okay.
So
like Donald Trump's hair.
that can be used. You can decide to use a subject, or you can decide to use what is happening in the country. You can decide to use Galamsey. You can decide to use whatever you call it, elections. Something that can create a harmony, but it shouldn't be a hot topic. A topic that will make both of you relax. Into an atmosphere where you feel relaxed, you can laugh about issues, you can smile, and then gradually you can just tip it. You can even start like in a story form. And there was this story I watched, there was this movie I watched about this particular thing, and then the husband didn't know how to do something, and then the lady was trying to talk about the subject. What do you think should have been the best way that they could have handled this? In this case, you are not just introducing the topic directly. You are using somebody's topic. Then once he or she starts speaking. So from your personal perspective, do you think we are doing things right? Or what do you think that I can do to make it better for you? In that sense, if the person is really come as an attacking, if the person will just gradually be starting from somewhere, and both will begin a discussion from a different perspective, and all of a sudden it will just naturally flow into it, and you find out that both of you will just speak without anybody feeling bad.
Okay.
The third thing you do is use the I or first person singular statement. Use the I statement.
Okay.
For instance, I feel closer when you do this. Oh, I would like to try something different. Or instead of saying, you never do this, you are always like that, you are always sleeping, you are always raising one nose, you are always lifting one leg, you always need, in that case, it's very attacking and very judgmental. But, I think we could do something different this time. I would love it if you do something like this. Can we try something like this? But in that case,
Hello? Hello? Hey, telecom phone. How are you doing? Hello? I think it's gone again. It's gone again. So, I get what he was saying. That's my ringtone, by the way. Hello?
Yes, Harry.
Yeah.
I think tonight the network is really...
No, I think they are intentional about it. As soon as they hear we are discussing something that helps couples, then they behave like that towards us.
Anyway, so the next thing we could look out for is choose the right timing and settings.
Choose the right time and settings.
Good.
Okay.
You choose a calm, natural moment avoid discussing the subject during moments of difficulty or conflict where there's tension, but choose moments or times when you both are very calm, you are relaxed, you are free from distractions, and then you can start discussing some subjects.
So ideally, generally for a couple, which time is very conducive for this cool, calm concept of serenity to have this discussion?
Well, it depends on the settings at home. But it's probably a couple, and then we have the kids, and the kids have gone to work, and it's going to be the two of you in the house. You can create the environment, the ambience yourself.
Okay.
You can just what are you doing? Can you? I saw something here. I want to discuss. I want you to come and have a look at it. You sit down. Can I get some juice? Can I get this? Oh, let me get you this. And by so doing, you are not under any pressure, any tension to do anything. Gradually, then you can start discussing some subjects from a very slow pace, and gradually you fall in. But some would prefer to talk it over bed. But sometimes the challenge with that is, if both of you come back home tired, you might raise a topic, and you'll be talking before you realize your partner is asleep, and you'll be talking to the air.
Okay. So does like intentionally as a couple educating yourselves about sex also help? Hello? Okay. It's obvious that this phone line business isn't helping us tonight. Just not at all. Okay. So, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I think we'll have to do this quickly so that we can have all the points in place then.
Okay,
yes.
So let's look at it. Let me just hit them point. The next time you need to look at is educate yourselves about sex communication.
Yes, I was thinking about that. How do people, do they have to be intentional about it? Does one party do the reading or the research and comes to share, or it has to be done together so that it's not like you've gone to experiment somewhere and you're now coming to teach me? That's a kind of scenario.
Okay, so in this case, there are different ways by which you can look at it. You can learn from this. You can attend workshops and seminars
in Ghana.
Events in Ghana. It's unfortunate in Ghana, most churches don't do that. But the last month, ICGC Anaje did one. The whole of the month was dedicated for family enrichment. And there were a lot of subjects that were discussed on some of these subjects.
I was there myself.
Yes, you're a resource person.
I took the topic on how to love your partner. That recording will be on our YouTube channel very soon.
Okay, so you get a lot of resources, a lot of information from those places as well, and you need to know your partner as well. If your partner is not a type that likes to read, then you may have to do the reading and then or the research and share with your partner. Well, I read about this. Can you let's discuss? I read about this, and this is what they were saying. What do you make of it? And your partner might dig into it. For instance, today I watched a topic. I was researching on a subject in the scriptures, and it talks about God says, "I'll make rivers in the desert." So I was researching, and I got to find out that in the desert of Morocco, it was flooded, which is something that has never happened in ages. Since the world began, the desert has never flooded. But as of yesterday, the desert in Morocco had flooded, and it was on BBC.
Wow!
So I just said, "Wow, come and look at something." The Bible is being rewritten in our face. History is being made right before our eyes. And then I just brought a subject up, we discussed it, and then the interest came up. So other subjects could come in, and then you were able to speak to your partner with other things as well.
Okay.
read our books as well, and sometimes do a research, work on movies. Look at movies that teach about some of those things. There are a lot of movies relating to marriage. We've got War Room, we've got Fireproof, we've got different countless movies that you can look out for and then watch together. It also teaches one. The next thing is to be patient and respect boundaries. Sometimes you raise a subject and then one party says, I don't want to talk about it. You need to respect the partner's views and sometimes find alternative ways of drawing your partner into the conversation. But
sometimes you take it that, okay, it is for this time that they are not ready to discuss it. Then the next time you bring it up, the same subject, they are not ready to talk about it. So it gets to a point where you realize that, no, it's deliberate. They just don't want to talk about this one.
Good. So what happens is that sometimes it's because of our upbringing and the way we are brought up. Some of us had to overcome certain challenges and try to break certain barriers to be able to speak on certain subjects because of where you grew up from and the settings you find yourself in at home. And then when the people you grew up with, the surroundings you grew up with, will not make certain subjects. It will not even crop your mind. So you have entered into a realm where your partner is coming from a home or a place where those subjects nobody talks about it. It's a taboo. So you have to find a way of drawing the person into it. Now you need to learn what we call the love language of your partner. Understand her language, and then you use her language. Some people, love language is gifts.
Okay.
So find ways to introduce her to them. There are some that it's just an act of kindness, or sharing the kitchen with her, or sitting down to watch football with him, or saying, let's take a walk together. You need to understand their language, and then once you understand the language, it will be easier for you to communicate. It's not something that is going to be easy because you are going to break a generation thing that has been there for like 25, 30 years. That's how the person has been brought up, and you want to change it. So it needs careful way of discussion. The person might tell you, I don't want to talk about this. I also, okay, I understand you. But because of maybe, for instance, let's say myself, I'll say, well, because of this subject I'll be discussing, I need to understand from a woman's perspective. So it will help me to be able to communicate better.
Okay.
Can you help me? I'm not saying you, tell me about you personally. What makes you women behave this way? Why is it that women always speak in coded languages? Instead of telling me in black and white, tell me, okay, the room, there are cobwebs in the room, so when they're coming, buy mosquito spray. Instead of just saying that, say, Nancy, they'll have indirectly, she's telling you that there are spiders in the room, so find ways to deal with it. But she won't tell you directly. But as a man, you feel like, just tell me, please, get this thing, and then you get it and go. But they will try to talk to you in coded language. You ask them, madam.
So in other words, women are the reasons why in football they introduced indirect free kick.
Okay, it could be one of the reasons for the footballers.
Okay.
And then the next point we can do is normalize regular conversations
about sex.
About it. Yes. Try to normalize it. Don't make it a topic that is always shy. A topic that is once in a blue moon. No.
For that to achieve its aim in a relationship, I feel the willingness of the parties or the partners to do this really goes a long way. Because if it is one-sided, you might not still achieve much.
Okay, so in this case, what you try to do mostly is you use the non-verbal cues. Sometimes you use mostly.
Some people use that, it still doesn't work. Some people are just unresponsive to all of this. All they know is, you want it, I'll give it to you. Okay,
so you see, that is true, but it shouldn't be like that all the time. And one perception I've read about extensively with women is they always have the perception that once the man comes in, he wants to have it and go. So men should also try and understand that sometimes, but all they need as a woman is just caressing and foreplay. They don't need penetration, just to feel good to themselves. So that is all they want. So sometimes just do that for them. Get them excited. And then just leave them.
Okay. I want us to just go ahead and look at some practical advice you will have for couples to overcome sexy talk. Okay. Just some 2 or 3 points in the next 2 minutes so that we can leave you and come back to the studio.
Can I give you the question, please?
Any practical advice you have for couples to overcome this challenge in talking about sex at home?
Okay, so because it's a sensitive subject, one of the key things that I will encourage you to do in starting the conversation is that it shouldn't be a subject you rush. Don't try to rush the process. It can take up to 6 months for the other party to open up.
It some take longer.
Yes. And some can take as long as 3, 4, 5 years.
That's short. Some have taken 10 years and you're still going.
Good. So don't rush the process. And sometimes also it's good to I will encourage that you introduce other resource materials like movies that talks about some of those things, and then discuss the movies together.
Discuss the movie. Okay, I'm listening.
So when you watch the movies, hey, this person, I don't know, what do you also think? What have you learned? Share with me what you have learned, and let me also share with you what I have learned. I say, we are learning. It's a couples thing. We are doing this, and then gradually they begin to open us, because some of the subjects are not their area of their life. They might choose the other subjects that they are not interested in. Then you will gradually, because they've opened up from that side, you use the other route to enter through with what you also feel like. By so doing, you have shared it with her or with him. They may also have heard it from your side, and then tell them this. For instance, I would love that we do this. Some will tell you, I said, do. No, but it should be something you do. One thing also is make your spouse a friend. Where the person becomes a friend, speaking about certain subjects, you are no longer scared about their reactions because you know how the person is. And you know, the subject, when you raise the subject, the person comes up with issues. No, but once gradually you've been able to break down the subject to a large extent, the person is your friend. You can talk about issues, highly sensitive issues, highly classified information. Then gradually, the person will be relaxed when he starts to raise some subjects. And most times, some of them are close because of experiences they've had in the past.
Okay.
And they don't want to relive some of those things. Some of them have been disappointed before. They have issues because sometimes there are a lot of secrets they don't talk about.
But this person is not the one who did the disappointment. So, please, take a chance with him or her. Open up a little.
I don't know if that thing is, but he didn't marry you.
I knew a guy who could kill snakes, but he was afraid of frogs.
You see, but frogs and snakes are different. But it's important that experiences from the past tend to affect the way we behave and the way going forward. I have had a lot of issues like that, where there was this gentleman who was raped by a lady, and so anytime when even he got married, it was difficult to even make advances to the wife.
Wow.
And they married for 3 years. He never touched the wife.
But did the wife touch him?
That becomes an issue. When the wife approaches, it's a different story. Once the wife tries, he feels like what happened to him in the past, the wife was going to do the same thing.
Wow.
So we had to take this gentleman through counseling, try to unwind what he had in the past, and try to bring him to a new place.
Finally, he tried it, and he loved it.
Then gradually he tried it. Now they've got 2 kids. Now,
And
but this
every
happened
time he wants
after
to
5
have
years.
it.
So it's a process, and then most people don't do that. Most people don't seek counseling. Unfortunately, in our part of the world, we don't encourage counseling or seeking for professional advice because we are scared you go and tell somebody your story or your issues, it becomes a public issue. No.
Yeah.
For professional help, they will be able to tell you exactly what you need to do, coach you, and help you with the sequence and steps that you can use to help your marriage or your relationship progress.
Thank you. Thank you, Innocent. Thank you so much. I'll catch you on the other side. Okay, Miss Philo. So, similar question. Any advice for overcoming sexual talk?
Okay. So I think one of the ways or some of the ways that you can overcome it is like one, you need to open up to each other. Like because for me I see it as if you guys get married, the moment you are married, there is nothing like how do you call it, shyness or something. So put everything aside and then you do it. So sometimes you need to ask about the person's and the comfort, the levels and consent. Sometimes you need to communicate the sex with the partner, or what do you like? What are some of the things that if I do, you don't like? Which parts that if I touch most, you like, and that stuff. I think if you do all these things, it will help when it comes to communication, and then clarity, and then your priority. Let the person know your needs, and then the priority. You prioritize the marriage for anything, the sex aspect of it. Because every marriage, I think sex is the key. Then you can't take it away. And sex, I always say that sex is best enjoyed when you are with the right person. You really enjoy it. But when you are doing it, and just as Mr. Innocent was saying, you are doing it and you be like, I'm tired, come and do it. No. The man may do it, alright, but that's a desire wouldn't be there. Like the satisfaction, like how if both of you are communicating, how you feel. So I think sometimes we need to consider those things before we get into the mood. Know what your partner wants, when and how. If the person comes from work tired, I think that wouldn't be the right time. If you really want to enjoy the person, you wouldn't get that much time to enjoy the person.
All right. Okay, thank you very much.